Welcome back to another Simark Services UK security video, and what we're going to do now is lead on from what we were talking about earlier, which is the stance, or the fence, or your ready stance, whatever terminology you want to give it. So I know those of you that have done your SI course to get your licence, if you just step in a minute, Mark, you've been shown, just turn around that way slightly for me please so we can see the camera. You've been shown positions like, taking them by the wrist of the hand, or showing them where the door is by getting behind the elbow and all in the small of the back. But we know in real terms that just is not effective. If you go to someone who's had a bit of a kick off inside the pub, they're a bit hammered, they've had a few too much to drink, a bit high on drugs, and all of a sudden you split the fight up by whatever means you know how to split a fight up, and then you say, "Excuse me sir, would you mind exiting the club via the nearest door?" It's just not realistic. So we're going to go from our stance and we're going to go into what we call the escort positions. So for me here, I'm in my ready stance, which my left leg is my lead leg, is going to go forward. My right leg is slightly back, and I'm now facing towards the subject, which is Mark. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to ask him to leave the club, first and foremost, just by taking a loose hold around his wrist. So I'm just below his bone here, but above the top of the hand, just in that gap. And all I've got is my thumb and my finger just loosely around there. The rest of my hand can rest on top of his hand. I'm not gripping him tight, I'm not showing him how tough I am. I've literally just got my finger and thumb around there, just so he knows that I've got hold of him. My left hand then is just going to come either behind the elbow, on the back of the tricep here, or in the small of the back, okay? But for me, I know I've got more effective control if my left hand is going to come up here. So that way we can go from another move from this technique, which is what I'll call escort position number 1, into something a bit more advanced, where I can perform a strike on the back of the arm, I can come up underneath him, I can grab hold of the shirt to take control, whatever I need to do. But for this one, all we're going to do is escort position number 1. It's just from my ready stance here. Hopefully there's 2 of you working, so my operator will be doing the same thing on his opposite side. All I'm going to do is loosely grab him around the wrist, the back of the arm, and I'm going to take him where I want him to go. So we're going to lead you outside the door, and we're going to walk him forward. At this point here, if he then starts to struggle, wants to pull away, I need to maintain control of the subject. I know you've been shown in the SIA that you could potentially disengage because, oh my God, they're going to take my licence off me if I hit him, or if I try and restrain him, I'll be breaking the law. This is when you need to know what you can and cannot do, okay? So if I need to get him outside of the club, whatever the venue is that we're working in, if I need to get him outside, I'm going to get him outside, okay? I'm going to do it lawfully and within the realms of the law. I'm not going to be aggressive, I'm not going to beat him up. All I simply want to do is escort him from the premises. So for me, there's nothing easier than going from escort position number 1. Hopefully he's going to listen to my verbal commands. We've already disrupted whatever the occasion was that needed me to restrain him. And hopefully now he realises that I'm going to take control and I'm going to get him outside the venue. And I'm hoping that minimum amount of force, which is literally a loose grip around the wrist and just control of the back of the arm, is going to be enough to do it. If he then decides he wants to kick off, we can go a little bit further. We can maybe roll the arm over so I can take control of the wrist. I can roll it over, push him on the back of the tricep and get his arm up. Okay, as long as I've got him in this position where I can get his hand higher than the shoulder, I'll maintain control. Okay, I can grab hold of his t-shirt here. If he's a big bloke, like obviously Mark is, he's going to try and resist, he's going to tense his arm up, which means you need to have the edge, you need to be quicker. So before he can tense up, because as soon as he wants to tense up, you're going to struggle. But again, if he starts to struggle and tense his arm, we can move in and try and do some other techniques. But if we can get the upper hand on him, obviously within a training scenario, if I know he's going to tense up and I can roll the arm just by a simple twist of the hand, my fingers come into play then on the back of Mark's hand, and I can roll the whole wrist over. Okay, this is the action that we're looking for. We need to roll it to maintain control. But at the same time as rolling it, I need to roll the top of his arm. So on the back of the tricep of my left arm, I'm just pushing that up. If I need to, I can grab hold of the t-shirt to assist, or even if he's a big guy like Mark, don't be afraid to put a little strike in. So as I'm rolling, to maintain control, I can either come over the back of the tricep with a bladed hand and roll it that way, to enable me to push him down without letting go of this wrist. So from here then, so I can take control of the back of the t-shirt, maintaining control of the wrist, and I can go into numerous positions from here. We can come down and go into a gooseneck, hand on top, we go back to where we were. We can come down and even do the hammerlock, taking control, stand them up. There's 2, 3, 4 techniques that we can do from that position, all stemming from escort position number 1. So this is the basic technique that we're going to teach you as our students, and everything that we do from here comes from escort position number 1. This is the most important stage that we need to master before we can move on to other techniques that we just demonstrated. Okay, any questions, Mark? No? No? Okay, so thanks so much again for watching another Simark Services UK presentation.